How's it going, diabetes crew? Welcome back to the Diabetes Management Group. My name is Patrick Liu. I had prediabetes back in 2021 and was able to successfully reverse it in 2022. Before we get started on today's topic on 10 natural ways to lower blood sugar levels, I wanted to share a story with you. Whenever I wake up and I start to feel that brain fog, wanting to go back to bed, just that area of confusion, lethargy, tiredness, and that feelings of fatigue, I found out that sometimes whenever I eat too much food for dinner, specifically when I eat a large portion and meal of rice, I generally wake up to higher levels of blood sugars that make me feel groggy, tired, just not feeling great. And it came to the point too where it reminded me of when my grandfather, who passed away from type 2 diabetes, any of those situations that he had where there would be spikes in his blood sugar levels, and sometimes the medications that he's taken just wasn't quite enough, and it led to him just feeling weary, losing some of his balance, and just not in a great situation in time and moment. And because of those feelings and those memories, I wanted to share 10 natural ways to lower blood sugar levels that I've learned and have utilized for myself in hopes to serve you all's, and you don't have to experience the situations that I've experienced with the brain fog, tiredness, as well as the situations that my grandfather experienced with his higher blood sugar levels, of that confusion, dizziness, potentially losing balance and leading to a fall. So I'm just going to go down the list over here. The first one is following a balanced diet, and I use Chronometer personally to track how many calories are coming in, weighing out my foods to ensure that I'm hitting my macronutrients, really getting an objective form of data of how much I am eating and how much carbohydrates I'm eating, as well as the proteins and fats that I'm taking to help blunt and attenuate those spikes in blood sugars. Tip number 2 is portion control. Whenever I put some food onto my plates, sometimes I would shake it out to make it look flat, and it makes it look larger in portion. So it tricks my mind to feel fuller for longer and quicker periods and not eat as much, so I can feel more satiated and have more of those limitations on those blood sugar spikes. Tip number 3, eating at regular meal times to help reestablish my body's response to having those spikes and lows and making it so it's more in a consistent range. Tip number 4, increasing fiber intake. And I found huge benefits in this for seeing how much my blood sugars don't spike up as high whenever I have meals, which is awesome. And also from personal experience, whenever I increase my fiber intake, I noticed that I farted a lot more. So things that I've learned from that is making sure to drink more water in response to the increased intake of fiber. And this can come from dark green leafy vegetables, oatmeal is another one of my favorites, and reading a nutrition label that'll have the fiber content on there, and having higher amounts generally is better. And then tip number 5, staying active. Physical activity is great. Personally, for me, I found huge benefits in doing a 15 to 20 minute walk after eating my meals. It makes me feel a lot more energized. It lowers my blood sugars and keeps it more in a regular spot and state, compared to having it spike up insanely after eating a meal, or spike up a bit later if I have low carbs but higher amounts of proteins and fats, which would then get converted into increased blood sugars later on throughout the day. So being aware of those and going on walks helps improve that. Number 6, resistance training. So using some weights and building up that muscle. Having more muscles actually increases the body's metabolism and reduces the need for the insulin to work as hard. So it increases insulin sensitivity and helps regulate blood sugars more appropriately. Tip number 7, hydrate or dihydrate. By not drinking enough water, that can actually increase the blood sugar spikes and keeps it at a higher level, because our water helps with filtering out contents within our body, helps with that transportation of the blood sugars to the places that they need to go, and optimizes everything and helps regulate blood sugar levels more appropriately. tip number 8, stressing less. So by doing some breathing exercises, some meditations, that helps lower the stress hormones such as cortisol, and that has been shown to reduce the blood sugar levels whenever they are high due to stress. And I really like combining the reducing stress with the next tip, which is getting sufficient amount of sleeps. Generally, I would listen to a meditation video right before I go to bed, or probably 20 or 30 minutes before I go to bed, to really put myself in more of a calm state to get that sufficient sleep. Because if I go to bed and I feel stressed, I'm not getting appropriate amounts of sleep. I'm waking up in the middle of the night a lot more, and it's not a great time, especially when I wake up. Oh goodness, I have a high in blood sugar, and it was just not a great time. So getting that sufficient sleep really refreshes myself and really helped with my blood sugar levels, and optimizing that can support everyone else. And I know for some folks, sometimes optimizing sleep by adjusting the temperature in the room or investing into bed cooling or bed heating technologies, that can significantly help with going to bed and having that quality of sleep. And then tip number 10, using a monitor to measure blood sugar levels. I've noticed that recognizing the trends of where my numbers are at has been helpful to track it, as well as learning, am I feeling groggy because of higher blood sugars or lower blood sugars, and really determining the difference between them. And it's been helpful in really understanding when to lower my blood sugars with the activities that I mentioned earlier, if I don't have access to medications, as well as understanding when I would need to eat a highly sugary snack if my blood sugars were low. So anyways, thank you all so much for tuning into this video to learn about these 10 tips. You have the awesome opportunity to get a copy of this ebook where I go into more details of each of those tips by clicking on the comments down below to receive this free ebook that I want to give away for y'all's, because it's benefited me a lot, and I'm sharing the things that I've learned, as well as making sure that others don't end up in the same situation as my grandfather passing away from type 2 diabetes. So thank you all so much for tuning into this video. We also have a free Facebook group if you want to join. The link for that is down in the comments below. And please, this video, if you enjoyed it, share this video with anyone you think would be helpful for. Subscribe if you haven't already. Click that notification bell for updates, and I'll see y'all in the next video.